they were bowled out.
Yeah, but that is, to be fair, that is 4 times more than Sri Lanka usually get against India, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, so again, that doesn't teach us anything we don't know.
Shamsi's in, tosses it up, and Iris straight down the ground. He's finding his range now. Actually, he hasn't really got hold of it, to be fair. And now were Marco Janssen's foot on the sponge there, so he may have held it just above the sponge.
So again, that doesn't teach us.
They've got back for 2. I'm sure we're going to have another look at it. Tosses it up, and Iris straight down the ground. He's finding his range now. Actually, he hasn't really got hold of it, to be fair. Now were Marco Janssen's foot on the sponge there, so he may have held it. More intent now from Shreyas. It wasn't quite there for the shot, but didn't quite get hold of it. Look at it. Tosses it up, and Iris straight down the ground. He's finding his range now.
They're in the game here. If he's going to
I think he's released the ball before the crucial moment there. I think he's okay.
Just okay, but it is awkwardly close.
You can't... Oh, no, maybe it's not, actually. No, I think his knee has maybe caught it before he's let it go. His upper knee.
This is the angle that will tell us, surely.
Oh, it's a lot of back and forward over 2 runs, but, you know, that might count. It's right on the frame. It's almost the same frame.
It's the missing frame, isn't it? Again.
Yeah, could split the difference and call it 3.
They should have the rule like that. And then we could all save time, because there is very little that's more dull than watching these replays of whether it's 4
and honestly,
or whatever
it's really the same frame. They just can't tell. I think I'd probably just leave it at 2. But you could totally give this either way. I mean, if you look at it 50 times, I don't think it's going to help. Which we are doing.
But while we hold our breaths, just to complete the story on Eden Gardens before we end this commentary stint at the top of the over, have they signalled nothing?
I think it's just going to be 2. Yep.
Yeah. The last game before this year was in 2017 at Eden Gardens.
Yes, India didn't play too many home ODIs in the last cycle. That one's clipped up to long on, be another single.
Yeah, even given, of course, this is just the ODI listing, but even given COVID, that is quite a long gap. It's nice to see the old girl again, a proper scoreboard as well they've got in there.
India do have a ridiculous amount of test and one-day international venues that are available to them.
And they're all getting a workout in this tournament, and why not? You know, at least they didn't have to build, well, apart from Ahmedabad, which they're building anyway, at least they didn't have to build 10 new stadiums to host a tournament. That's clipped out to deep mid-wicket, it'll be a single.
Always a emotional, well, it's a bit of a special ground for us South Africans to see, because that's where we made our comeback to international cricket after isolation back in 1991.
Shamsi is in, and Shreyas plays it back down the wicket. There'll be no run. We will have a change at the end of the over. Oh, that's good. You can see that now. Richard, you're going to be back for the last 10 of this innings.
I'm a bit scared, but let's look forward to it.
And in the meantime, David and Nestlers will join us remotely.
And I'll swap out for
a rest, as that one's clipped out to deep square leg. Be another single, 30 overs done. It's 179 for 2. That explosive power play has given India enough of a platform to go big from here. Hello, Sean. How is everything?
Yeah, good, mate. You'll be pleased to hear that I used the Wardy as when players were getting out for the pointless 12 to 15 runs yesterday.
Oh, as long as it's off 25 balls.
Yeah,
do you remember that one? Yeah.
Okay.
12 off 12 is fine. And David is back with us, and you're going to be ball by ball, yes, David?
It's correct. That sounded like was that Andy?
Yes.
Yes, of course. I was a bit confused before not looking at the rotor, because of course your name doesn't appear along the top of the screen. But I recognise your dulcet tones, Andy, and thank you very much for taking us through those 10 overs, which, India showing the virtues of batting out time, because they weren't. It was much better bowling from Maharaj. What a great spell of bowling from him, one of the unsung heroes of this excellent South Africa team. Janssen's coming back into the attack now. He's going to hope to do better in his second spell, and Nesta's going to play his jingle.
I'll play a jingle. I'm here. No, I don't play. No, I don't play. I only play jingles when they first come on. We're not doing it the rest of the time.
I can't do jingles from here.
You could sing it.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were raising your hand, then I realised you were stretching in a kind of yoga type pose. Could this be a potential DVD series?
Nice picture of Bavuma and Janssen and their different heights.
Here's Janssen, and that's lofted by Shreyas imperiously. It's going to just bounce in front of the boundary for one bounce for Shreyas, raising the gears. Now that is half century, 50 for Shreyas, India 183 for 2.
And I'll give him a quick 50 jingle because I wouldn't like to skip that one.
Here's Janssen. Shreyas looking busy now, busier than he was before. I noticed that Ishan Kishan, I always like saying that, came onto the field with a message, presumably from Rahul Dravid. It was directed at Shreyas here, and I think it was saying, just lift it up a bit, just go up a gear, because that's what India will be focused on now. Got the solid third wicket partnership.
Well, it would certainly be the correct message, but you also shouldn't really need telling. 2 wickets down, 20 overs left.
And that's played through the covers, and Shreyas plays that majestically for another boundary, 2 in a row.
Lovely shot, very smooth cover drive, and Shreyas is managing to provide that acceleration and catch up on his innings, and Janssen's having a pretty tough day at the office.
Certainly is. If he was in the office, he'd probably be
spilling
spilling
his water over the keyboard and breaking the photocopiers, that kind of day.
Yeah, and avoiding those water cooler moments when you gather around with colleagues, because you wouldn't want to speak to anyone at the moment. In fact, if you could offer him a large hole to dig himself into,
it'd have to be a very large one.
0 for 50, 0 for 51. Make that 0 for 52. He's only in his 5th over. That's a wide down the leg side. De Kock has given up on him. Reminds me of a wicketkeeper I used to play with, Steve Collins. If he bowled it down the leg side, he just wasn't interested. He just said, fetch it yourself. He wouldn't even make any attempt to stop it.
and the captain's okay with that?
He was the captain.
Oh, I see.
It's a tough school of tough knocks.
It's a school of being a dick, it sounds like to me.
Well, you might have something to say about that. He's listening to this coverage now. Big shout out to you, Swag. And anyone else from Farmers Cricket Club down in Brighton. We're going to challenge Andy's team to a match next year. Janssen bowls. That's also a wide down the leg side. What is he doing? Janssen, 0 for 53 is in his 5th over. How about it, Andy? What about your club, my club, meeting up?
Come up to Winchmore Hill any time you like, but we only play home games. We're not going to Brighton.
Oh no, and I'm not living in Brighton, so it's in my interest for it to be in Winchmore Hill as well.
Yeah, he's really having a rough one, Janssen, and I was going to ask Richard, and perhaps we can figure out ourselves, if South Africa have got a 6th bowler they can rely on. It's only Markram, isn't it? Markram,
I think, will do a job on this pitch because it's assisting the spin bowlers. Jadeja and Kuldeep will be licking their lips, I should think.
They should be, yeah.
So, I think it would be sensible to bring Maharaj in, and I'd take a couple of overs away from Shamsi potentially as well. He hasn't impressed today in his overall approach. I don't know, it just seems a bit sloppy, but maybe that's unfair to his bowling because he's a good bowler. Janssen round the wicket. That's short. Help yourself. Shreyas really opening up now. His 3rd boundary in a matter of moments as India move on to 189 for 2.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Still some tweets.
Yes, please, Nestle.
Jay says that Jason being on tweets reminds me how much I swear. Also, I grow to layer, me and my mineral feet. Farong says, greetings all this Sunday. I hope everyone's well. Team Tata progressing nicely on Virat Day. What score will they set the Saffers? 330 plus? And it's the third day of the local rice harvest there, in brackets piss up. This morning the Bradnams knocked on my door at 5 a.m. Now 5:30 p.m. and I'm on my third bottle of rum. Jay also says Bitcoin is Donald Trump Jr. levels of utter toss.
Nope.
Jay says, is Jason off tweets? Fuck, prick, bitch, slag, tart, horse, cow, cock shit. Oh my word.
Let it out. Let it out.
That felt better.
Well,
the shoeies are with us. Just turned into Twitter to watch you guys. First time I've done Guerrilla TV. We'll be sticking with Radio Guerrilla. Oh dear. we put him off.
Faces for radio. Well, you can't knock this one because we called this move. It's going to be Aidan Markram.
Because he's a grinner, a part-time spinner, and a surfer.
No, go ahead.
And first ball from Markram is drilled to mid-wicket, and a very keenly run single by Kohli. His appetite for runs is running between the wickets. So fit, 35 years old, 35 years young. His record speaks for itself, but there's a particular record that we may well witness today, which will be his ODI century number 49, equaling the great Sachin Tendulkar, who, I put it to you, Andy, is more venerated than Kohli.
Probably, yeah. Once Kohli gets to the end of his career, maybe just recency bias will put him on top, but at the moment, probably Sachin, yes.
Yeah. Diving stop by Bavuma, setting a great example in the field. It was Bavuma who took a superb diving catch to get rid of Rohit Sharma that started to put the brakes on this India innings. Down the leg side, Markram, the umpire's keeping busy with his own form of yoga, taking after Nestle.
Yep. And
stretching the arms out for another wide there. Nestle, if you want to have a little stretch for the wide. Perfect. Nestle looking like he's in the little nerve centre of the operation there. And that's drilled back to long on. Nestle, where are you based? Are you a Londoner?
Essex.
Is that London?
Epping. No, is that London? Good
well,
God.
Bits of it are.
No, we're east of London. Only a little. I can get there within about, I don't know, in a car about 10 minutes, I suppose.
Could you give us a lift later on? I know I'd have to come to Epping first. I'm going to be in London later on. That's drilled back for no run. So Kohli's on 55. Shreyas in the 50s as well. Ravi Shastri looking very serious in the commentary box. And that's a little flick from Markram, getting some decent revs on the ball. He's much more than a part-time spinner, I think, Markram. He's having a very good World Cup. Took over the captaincy for a couple of matches. Been a wonderful World Cup for the Proteas. That's tidy enough. So that'll please his captain, because Markram gets through that over for only 3 runs, which gives the captain a lot more options. Nestle.
Well, Messages has sent in a quote from Barney Ronay, and it is an odd stadium, steadfast in its refusal to add even the slightest design detail, and unremarkable in every sense apart from its vast and pointless scale. Welcome to the last great wilderness, the Narendra Modi Stadium upstairs.
That's not this ground he's talking about, Ahmedabad, right?
Well, the Modi Stadium, yeah.
Yeah, yes, Ahmedabad, which will be the location for the second, the semi-finals are taking place Ahmedabad will be the Afghanistan versus South Africa match next Friday. As far as the 2 semi-finals are concerned, Eden Gardens and Wankhede Stadium, and then the final takes place back at Ahmedabad at the Modi Stadium. So we're here, yeah.
Reminds me of the first match I went to at the Emirates when they opened it, and a guy sort of just as we were going out just went, "It's a concrete bowl designed to take all the money out of your wallet."
Pretty much, yeah.
And there are a lot of stadiums that don't I mean, football stadiums that don't seem to have much character.
Well, Eden Gardens, in contrast, what a fantastic stadium. It's so redolent of past, glories on the cricket fields. It's been the scene of some of the best matches ever. And you can see why, because the conditions are challenging. You can't just hit through the line of the ball Johnny Bairstow style. It does actually mean you have to work to build an innings. And that's where England come unstuck with their T20 approach by failing to distinguish between T20 and the 50-over game, which I put it to you, Andy, I'm not expecting you to agree with me because you never do, has more in common when played in India with test match conditions.
No, I don't particularly agree, no.
But
if you're talking about yesterday, I thought the biggest problem was England went into their shells after they lost 2 wickets. They didn't trust the batsman behind them, maybe rightly, but you've got to play as if you do. They only took 30 off the power play. Well, what would they have done for those extra 20 runs at the end?
I'll leave that question hanging in the air. Of course, yet again, they didn't use all their overs up. They were dismissed, I think, the 4th time in the tournament. For LBW?
No, that's a highlight,
No, it's
David.
a replay.
I think we're on drinks, yeah.
They're on drinks, so I'm going to have a drink and I'll lie down after that because I got excited for no reason. Lured into that by, well...
That's what's commonly known as a Tony Bishop, David.
Oh, is it a Bishop?
It's a Bishop.
As we speak, Tony Bishop enjoying Singapore slings at the Raffles Hotel with a ninja. Whilst you Nestle in Essex, me in Oxfordshire.
Me in Sydenham,
Andy in Sydenham. Listen to us, YouTube. We're not purporting to be at the match. We're simply giving our thoughts on it and keeping our listeners up to date. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, all you Americans.
All the things we've been banned off.
Just get off our patch. Stop poking your nose into our business and stopping cricket fans from enjoying our coverage. What's it got to do with you?
If we break copyright law.
Conglomerate. I was hoping you'd come in there, Nestle, in support of that rant.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's copyright, isn't it?
Well, it's not. It's copyright being broken on this. We're not showing the action. We're not.
As I understand it, it's the music rather than the commentary.
Oh,
that's certainly been the problem in the
jingles.
past. Yeah.
Jay says, I can't guess Nestle's hat due to Twitter feed definition. I'm guessing it says Bitcoin is wank, but in pink. Dave, you don't want to go to Epping? Men are known to get lost in the forest.
Lost in the forest, as the Cure said, yeah.
Jay, it's one of those American hunting hats. I bought it in Walmart in North Carolina.
New over from Janssen, who's been kept on. This could be a mistake from Bavuma because he's 5 overs 7. And if the captain was expecting a better over, it's not started well. Wide and short. Put him out of his misery, and just Janssen, who's a great cricketer, great bowler, but he's having a real off day today.
Well, I think he probably feels he's got to get 10 out of Janssen and Markram, and he might be better off doing them now. That's the only thing I can think of.
10 out of between them, you mean? Yeah, Janssen bowls, and that's played nicely off the back foot by Kohli, goes to 56. Shreyas is on 61. India 198 for 2. We're in the 33rd over. The run rate is a little over 6 and over. So it's, South Africa have done well to put the brakes on with fantastic spell from Maharaj, who got through his 10 overs for just 30 runs, and very well supported by what's his name? Here's Janssen bowls, and that's played out by Shreyas. Rabada. Kisa Rabada. Shams is playing today. Whose place has he taken compared to the last game? Do we know that?
Nick Kutsia. Why played the extra spinner?
Kutsia injured?
We played an extra spinner.
Right, because Kutsia is bowling very quickly, the 3rd fastest bowler in this tournament.
Well, Mark Wood's the fastest, and how's that going?
Well,
pace isn't everything.
The fastest bowler in the tournament, Andy, after yesterday, is Mark Wood.
That's what I just said, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Well, he bowled very well yesterday. He was unlucky not to get more wickets. Butler had actually run and caught that, as opposed to standing back and watching everyone else. When the ball lobbed up towards Gully. That was symptomatic of Butler's state of mind, not wanting to go for that.
Well, Butler's completely cooked, but Wood still went for 70, and that's not ideal.
It isn't ideal. It was some great wicket-taking balls, but he sprayed it about as well, yeah. Janssen, and that's through extra cover, and there's no run. It's interesting, I was just having a little listen to Mark Nicholas on the TV feed, and he was saying that the game had been hijacked by 20-over cricket, and that Kohli had not fallen into that trap and knew how to build an innings. Well, Mark Nicholas, I hope you're going to change what you said as your first pronouncement for the MCC when you said that bilateral ODIs should be scrapped in favour of more 20-over cricket. Outside the off stump, and Janssen plays that one down. Now, I know I've got with me on commentary one of the leading proponents of the short form 20-over game, Andy Moore. But Andy, do you acknowledge that there is still a place for long form cricket? I'm talking about 50-over and Test cricket. And
of course.
That there is, that we would be, cricket fans would be denuded if those formats did not exist, if it was just 20-over.
David, of course, but no one's suggesting that. No, he said fewer, but he just said no. He wanted T20s rather than bilateral ODIs. He didn't say he was going to ban Test matches.
No, but by attacking the 50-over format and reducing that only being played in World Cup years, essentially you would have just the two formats, Test matches and 20-over. Whereas actually the 50-over format, I think, is one of the best formats ever invented. If I had one game to watch, it would be an ODI. Mike Atherton said the same thing last week. In fact, I only had that thought after reading his piece. I'm just basically nicking what his line. Here's Markham bowling a new over, and that's played out by Shreyas, who's looking very busy now. He's got the message from Ishan Kishan, the 12th man, who brought out a note saying speed up, and he really has been going fast since then. That's 200 up for India, 200 for 2. We're in the 34th over, run rate 6 and over. Kohli on 56, Shreyas on 63.
Yeah, these two batsmen done really well. They've paced it perfectly.
Markham's given that some air. He may be regretting it now, but it's a great piece of fielding there by Klaasen, is it? Who usually is associated with great pieces of fielding. Yes, Klaasen, who's made a big impact in this South Africa team, which is probably the strongest South African team I can remember in recent memory. And post-apartheid, I'd say this is one of the strongest teams. I mean, Graham Smith obviously led a very good team, but this team just plays as a team, plays together really well. And that's played out to long on for single by Shreyas.
Yeah, they seem to have most of the bases covered. I do think that these are the two best teams in the tournament. And so South Africa will obviously be in the knockout stages, and they'll have one game to make or break, and break that duck and make a final. And I think they're definitely capable of doing it.
Absolutely. That's drilled. That's short one. It's pulled down by Markham, and it's help yourself. Kohli's not going to let that one go. On the buffet, help yourself, 4 runs to Kohli.
And they're helped by the fact that whatever happens today, they should be finishing second, third at worst, and will avoid India in the semi-final. We'll probably play Australia one way or the other.
Yes. Remind me what happened when those two teams met, South Africa and Australia.
Well, when? In this tournament. It was very early. South Africa won very comfortably, posted 300 and won by 100 runs.
So, because that's a single by Kohli down to long on. Here's Markham not getting away with this over. He's dropped another one short. It's Shreyas who accepts the buffet on offer and plants that over the boundary for 6 runs.
Yeah, Bavuma's got a problem here because, like I say, he's trying to squeeze out 10 overs from these two bowlers, but the batsmen aren't having it, and they're, again, this is what England failed to do yesterday. They didn't get after Travis Head. You've got to get after that, the weakest link in the bowling attack.
So there's a couple of weak links today, and obviously Janssen would be a weak link today as well. Let's just take a look at the bowling figures. Janssen, 5 overs for 43.
Well, it's more than that,
Janssen,
isn't it? Yeah.
6 overs for 60, I beg your pardon. Ngidi, 5 overs for 43. Rabada's eye-catching figures of 1 for 19. Shams has gone round the park as well, so he's had a poor game, having failed to take a catch early on that would have saved South Africa 20 or 30 runs. Put Perry Dozie on the boundary. Maharaj was superb, 10 overs, 1 for 31. But there are some weaknesses in this South African attack that have been exposed, and that's another boundary that's being tucked away, this time by Kohli, who moves effortlessly on to 66. By my maths, he's just a shade under 2/3 of the way to his 49th ODI century, equaling that of Sachin Tendulkar. How this capacity crowd in Eden Gardens would love to share that moment with the great man. Risky shot by Kohli. No great threat from the bowler there.